Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the channel, and I've already seen a bunch of familiar faces in here today. Well, virtual familiar faces, I guess. Uh, if you could let me know, can you see me and hear me? Uh, that would be awesome. Hey, NetVblog, hello. How are you today? It's already wrecked. It's sinking. Yeah, no kidding. I'm going to get into that too, Nanya. Hey, Glenn, what's going on? Nate, welcome, welcome. Loretta, triple threat. I got into her live for a little bit and then work called me again. Um, and Magic, what's going on? Oh, that's me. Duh. Sorry. Um, Magic again. Hold on. I'm losing track because stuff is moving around too quick. Hey, Coffee, what's going on? Angie, welcome. Rip Curl. There's Rip. Oh, Coffee again. Sorry. Hey, Starlight. You know, my last boss is from Nova Scotia. One of the best guys I know. He's actually become a really good friend of mine. I I, I really want to go up there one day. I hear the fishing and the outdoors are just phenomenal. If you don't get caught in a blizzard, then it's not so fun. So let's see. Hold on. I think I missed a few people here. Hey, in between, Ola Nikki and True American Loretta. Nikki, is anyone still doing the cannibals or the food storage night that Ghost had started a while ago? I hadn't seen Ghost in a hot minute. And hey, Dakota, welcome. Stuart, what's going on, Mr. Stewart? And hold on, NetVblog, stay home, stay home. No, I want to go out. I'm the roaming prepper, not the stay-at-home prepper. Hey, Vision, thank you. Bonnie, thank you, Bonnie. I appreciate that. Love that Texas flag in the background, by the way, and the yellow rose. I get it. Uh, Joe, hello, Joe. Okay, I'm missing people. Yes and yes. Mad Shad, everyone's favorite Marine. How you doing, brother? Hold on. I think I caught up to everybody. Oh, hey, Mimi. Woo, people still coming in. From Sis at Triple. Hey, I'm glad you made it, Nitby. Yeah, and you know what? To your prior comment, the stay home, the way things are acting on the street, we may have to stay home. Not because of the Rona, but because of the crazy. Um, Hold on, I think I lost the angry homestead. I can't speak today. Angry homesteader, hello. Sophia usually does. I'll be on Tigers Live Thursday at 6. Okay, thank you, Nikki. I will look for that then. Canning. And hey, Annie Oakley, hello. And Dakota Hayes at chat. I am doing well. And I think I said hi to. If I missed anyone, I'm sorry. The chat. I don't know how channels like the Angry Prepper can keep up with the chats when he has like 120,000 subs, because I found engineering, right? I actually figured out that in any live you'll have about 1%, 1 to 3% of the number of subs you have is what shows up in your chat during a live, just on average. But he has over 100,000 subs, so in any given chat he'll be anywhere from 500 to like 2,000 people in the chat. I can't even imagine what that looks like. It just must be a blur, like, and it zips by. Clearly I can't type this. I can't speak, so this might be a really interesting live because all of our brains are turning off together. So you guys saw my thumbnail, right? Are we witnessing a shipwreck? And I think we're witnessing a shipwreck. I think we're witnessing a lot of stupid. Um, it just the amount of, you know how a lot of us have been saying, oh, there's like these powerful people are conspiring to screw us. I think we gave them too much credit. I think they're all conspiring to be more rich and powerful than the other guy. Because remember, these people, most of them have very big egos, right? Um, and I think that they're functioning. Things are happening in spite of them. Like, I don't think they know how to control the ship anymore. I've used that. Hey, hillbilly, what's going on? Um, I've used that analogy of like the mom letting the kid push the shopping cart down down the parking lot in a grocery store, and then the kid loses control of the cart, and now mom and all the kids are running after the cart, and it spills and stuff goes everywhere. That's what I feel we're witnessing. It's just uh, absolutely stupid. And then the news, what they're actually reporting, is absolutely brainless. And it really is not telling us the information we need to know. I'm finding out more digging into obscure articles and then listening to other YouTubers and Instagrammers, and even some of the TikTokers are on their game, and I can kind of put pieces together. Um, so here's a good one, and it's, they made such a big deal about it, and it freaked people. A lot of people freaked out, right? Because the Rona wasn't very nice to some folks, and then this one came up, and I watched it, and I was like, it's kind of a VD. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. And Magic, I am being ornery on TikTok until they kick me off. Who is John Galt? I have no idea. We'll, we'll go find out who John Galt is in a minute. So this is one of the first articles you see, right? Monkeypox. Los Angeles confirms first death. Look at the big headline, right? Um, but then you actually read it, and it goes, a Los Angeles resident who was severely immunocompromised died of monkeypox. The guy, if he was that immunocompromised, he either had cancer or he had AIDS or something else. Oh, okay, thank you. Uh, yeah, I need to read that book, by the way. Going Galt. Tony got it. Okay. So thank you, Sean. Yeah, so I mean that's unfortunate, but it marking the first confirmed death of the disease. But did he really die from the disease, or was he already ready to die? Here, it can't see you, Loretta. Can you guys see me? Loretta says she can hear me but can't see me. You may need to renew or refresh your screen, Loretta. I think it may be angry. But so the news follows the death of another patient, Texas, also immunocompromised. So other cities with major outbreaks have reported a drop in new cases once people realize that. Oh no, no, I believe it, or they dramatize it to freak people out. Now, is it something serious? Yeah, you don't want to get that. I mean, I've seen these guys with this stuff all over their face. I don't want that. I don't want to look like the chia pet that because I went and got a cootie somewhere. But several universities have reported cases of monkeypox since the students returned from to campus. Um, College kids are pigs, right? The fact I don't have 52 diseases from being in college, I mean, just shocks me. Um, so this is what they put, right? And they freak people out. Oh my God, did you hear people are dying in LA from? It was a couple of fellows who were already very sick, and and other cities with major outbreaks reported a drop in cases, including New York and San Francisco, due to increased availability of vaccines and, more specifically, behavior changing. Basically, don't hooch around and go, you know, mount on people, and you won't get a cootie. So Militant is paying attention. Wait, what did I miss here? Um, Going Galt. There you go. So yeah, this kind of news is frustrating because you're trying to look at info. You as someone who's trying to be prepared for emergencies, I'm looking at the radar screen, right? There's all this stuff, fried crickets. Um, yeah, I'm not eating fried crickets. I had a friend ate ants or fried scorpion on a stick in China, and that I don't know. They're related illnesses, but they're not exactly the same, and that's a good question. But yeah, this is what they put, right? So all the stupid people are like, oh my God, monkeypox. And basically, don't be a hoe. Whether you're a man or a woman, don't do it. It's just duh. People should know this by now. This isn't like the 12th century where oh Kenneth, thou haveth no monkeypox. Thou shalt have the pox. Begone. No, they know why this happens. Once the news goes out, stop doing whatever they say causes it. I just, oh my God, pox. Yeah, that's that is oh my God, pox. That's exactly. And they freak out. Hey, bug dude. By the way, I didn't see you sneak in there. Yes, hey, heroic. Yeah, the mama Luna, she's back here. She got angry at the other dogs, so I put them away because they were having a riot. And I am late. No worries, Scott. I appreciate it. I just lost track. I drank a lot as a young. I've eaten some stuff. Yes, the worst weekend I had in college was a guard drill with a bunch of guys that just rolled in from Desert Storm, followed by a fraternity party in the middle of that weekend. And the fact that I made it home and had clothes still was really, really surprising. And that everybody made it home, like nobody died. But you see, we didn't record our stupidity back then, right? If somebody actually had a camera and people would have to pose, they'd have to stop and get together and you try and take a picture, but the cameraman was hammered too, right? So what you wound up getting was this blurry picture of people kind of standing there, and you're like, oh yeah, that's that party, and and then maybe you see this blur of someone falling off the side of the screen. So I'm not worried at all. The power they seek is out of their hands. This is true. Um, I think in their arrogance, they're going to cause us. I still drink a lot. You know what? Depending on the week, I might. I try not to, but and yes, Bonnie, that's something that bothers me, and it makes me wonder. So they added 87,000 IRS agents, right? Not 87,000 guardsmen, which we could use for all the hurricanes, floods, fires. No, 87,000 IRS agents. Now they're not all going to carry guns now. Okay, whatever. But Germany's got infantry in the streets. Okay, we've got a war in Europe. What are they doing? It's almost like they don't really know what they're doing. And all they're doing is making it, hey, Texas Red Leg, they're making it more stupid as time goes on. So I decided monkeypox was not something I needed to freak out about, but I did see some stuff that did concern me. And let me see. And I think it's just relevant because it's the kind of stuff that bites us because nobody's talking about it outside of the financial sector. So let me see if I can get this puppy running here. Hang on just a second. Bear with me as my computer gets quickly offended and decides it's not to cooperate. Um, okay, let's see if that works. Hang on just a second here. So, okay, so I'm going to go. This one should have audio, my friends. So if you do not hear audio, please let me know.
Essentials remains high. Let's go to our chief White House correspondent.
Oh, maybe not.
Numbers on inflation as the cost of essentials remains high.
Can you guys hear that?
Chief White House correspondent Cecilia Vega with that. Good morning, Cecilia.
Hey, Robin, good morning to you. Yeah, just 56
I
days.
don't hear it very well. Oh, here we go. Hang on. Yeah, hold on. Let me rewind that. Okay, you're not hearing audio either.
Numbers on
Oh,
inflation.
jeez, that got
as the
loud.
cost
Okay,
of
I guess I
essentials
fixed
remains
it.
high. Let's go to our chief White House correspondent Cecilia Vega with that. Good morning, Cecilia.
Hey, Robin, good morning to you. Yeah, just 56 days now until those midterms, and the White House knows that inflation, the economy are top of mind for voters. So these numbers just came in. Let me show you what we're talking about right now. The consumer price index rose to 8.3%. That's up from a
Oh
year
yeah,
ago, and
I'm
it's
gonna
worse than
talk
analysts
about that in a
predicted. But
second.
it means that Americans are still paying sky-high prices for things like groceries, rent, new
We
cars,
all
and
know this.
education. There is, though, this silver lining. Gas prices continue to fall. That national average now at about $3.70 a gallon. That's down from those records that we saw over the summer. The White House is really hoping to be able to say that the worst when it comes to inflation is now behind us. And today here at the White House, President Biden is going to be
Okay, so of course gas prices are down. We're out of the driving season, right? Summer is when it's worse. You know when else gas prices go up? In the winter. So they're going to be pushing this comment. But look, inflation rises unexpectedly in August. But the video tells you the exact opposite, right? They hold on. What was that, Joe? Hope the Fed tanks on Wall Street. Shame they screw. Brokers can't jump anymore. Actually, that's not true, Joe. They had a broker jump out. Oh, I don't know where he jumped out of. He went to another building and jumped from there. Benefits a few. Yeah. And that's my point. So you see the video, right? Most people will get on this article and click the video, and the video's like, oh, inflation slows for the second straight months. But then you read the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped more than 1,200 points, nearly a 4% drop, the worst day since 2020. Uh, and the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, they all dropped. Hope it's someday host us during recession. Yeah. Inflation data released on Tuesday revealed that prices rose slightly in August. So that reporter just said, oh, our inflation is down, or rate of inflation went down. It's still high, but it went down. And the article's saying something different. And this is the stuff that makes me crazy because uh, right, prices rose broadly outside of the energy sector. Food prices went up 0.8% on a monthly basis, so 1% a month. Well, yeah, we're seeing that right now. Hey, my mother Spark, how you doing? Yeah, Militant, I can't even wait for that. That's just gonna be fun. I lost. Hey, Loretta, how are you? So once again, they the video, which is what people will gravitate to, right? Instinctively, our eyes track motion. It's like, oh, inflation slowed down, but then the analyst is saying, no, it didn't slow down. It got worse, and now it sucks. Right, exactly. It's double speak. This is stuff straight out of Orwell. Either that or the editors of this newspaper are completely stupid because now they make themselves look dumb. Um, I, it's frustrating to see this kind of stuff because we we try to get information so we can make informed decisions, right? I started this channel what almost a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. No, a year and a half, and a lot of us were just starting. And I noticed in general, the YouTubers and the Instagrammers, we were about 6 to 8 weeks, maybe a little more ahead of the general populace. So I'd go to a grocery store and people were freaking out over milk or whatever, egg, whatever the hell was supposed to be in shortage. And I already knew about it. I'd been prepping for it for the prior 2 months because I'm like, oh, this is going to hit us. That's not going to be good. I may want to, stock up that part of my inventory. And they don't. So it's frustrating. Yeah, it is. It's just a plain lie. Well, yeah. And nice rich people. A lot of them don't know what they're doing either. I would say they are stupid. Um, so we're dealing with a lot of this contradictory stuff, and I think for those of you who follow Red October, and he's another content creator, he's here in Texas as well. He put out a video. Basically, it was a spoof of the internet and YouTube. He was making fun of everyone. And then people thought he was going to cancel his channel because the way he worded the title, it's like, I'm done. And what he meant was not like, I'm done with the stupid. People thought he was done and he was going to close. So he had to make another video like 2 hours later saying, no, 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 I was being silly. But obviously, you guys took me seriously. But yeah, it's it's frustrating because you see all this insanity. So, and then it's just, there's some people, I swear, just in denial. I'll get it. Of it enough. Or used as weapon. Yeah. Hey, if you can do it, and guys, if you can get into side gigs, side hustles, if you're like crafty, you can make something, arts and crafty, and go on Etsy, go on Amazon, use Amazon as like a platform. Etsy's probably better for a smaller personal sale, or go on Facebook, go to the local newspaper, whatever it is you do. An extra $100 a month. That's a grocery run, even today. A couple of $100, that's a couple of tanks of gas, depending on what you're driving. Or it could be one if it's a big SUV, right? But get those extra coins in there if you can, guys. I mean, the best you can. Not everyone has the bandwidth to do it. When the mainstream media is poking at is cleaning up for, no, it's not for us. It's fiefdom, but instead of blood aristocracy, although there is some of that, it's more nepotism and oligarchy, right? And eventually it'll be aristocracy, right? Because very rich people now will give their wealth and their power to one of their or more of their children, and they will continue to perpetuate it. No, yeah, get your hustle on, absolutely. Yeah, and it makes a difference. It makes a difference if you're not having to freak out about it. Um, I even had someone ask me, I used to be a tech writer in my early days as an engineer. Somebody asked me, would you proofread college papers? So I could definitely do that. Um, I don't know what the hell one charges, broke college kids, but that's something. Yeah, one person I know is a content creator on Instagram, is certified in first aid and bloodborne pathogens, all those OSHA type things. So on the side of her normal job, she's actually going and hitting small community colleges and doing an entire certified first aid course. And they pay her a few $100, but you figure she does one a week for 200, 250, right? She teaches a group. So you figure 5, 10 people is really what, $10 a person, something like that, depending how big the class. That's $750, $1,000 a month extra. That's big. That's not insignificant. So we're headed to feudalism. Yeah, for sure. Or chaos. Here's another one, and I love this because this is just, it's getting serious when the European newspapers are picking on the president over here um, for the Queen's mourning. Really? That's interesting. If there was an yeah, or it would be hidden from us, Sean. I really need to order that book, by the way. Atlas Shrugged. That's I forgot the name of the author. Ayn. I forgot the last name. But Biden celebrates Inflation Reduction Act as food and rent prices climb. So again, you're hearing one thing from the politician and the stand. That's where we're headed to the purge with that whole law in Chicago. If that thing actually is true, the way they describe it, that makes me insane. It's a good audiobook. Oh, you know what? I should do it that way. That's a brilliant idea. Thank you, Militant. Um, Anne Rand. Thank you. Thank you, Annie. Thanks, Scott. Scott shot it out there too. Thank you. Thank you. Um, and Joe Biden celebrated his climate change and drug pricing law, the Inflation Reduction Act. It did not do that on Tuesday, highlighting Democrats' commitment to progressive priorities even as consumer prices continue to bite. it was a climate change package. Had they just tried to pass it like that, I'd at least say, okay, well, at least you told us what it was, but they didn't. Today offers proofs the solar America is vibrant. No, your special interests are vibrant. I'm just frustrated with this because the news is contradicting itself. Now, this reporter is contradicting what the president says. Um, However, the event coincided with the release of Labor Department figures that showed an unexpected August rise in consumer index as rent and food continued to climb and continues to be the biggest issues ahead of voters in November. I'll tell you something else. You notice even though gas is going down, diesel has stayed kind of high. Yeah. Dream be moved up. Yeah. Yeah. He was shocked. Hey, Oki. And it's funny because, then of course you get, this talking heads on the news saying, well, he didn't understand. He didn't read the bill. No, they didn't read the bill when they voted for this Inflation Reduction Act because that was caca, right? And we're sending a hell of a lot of weapons that we're going to have to replace to another country. Uh, it's just frustrating, guys. It's really um, the Inflation Reduction Act finally passed with support and concessions from Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia. I'll tell you what, you may not like that guy, but if it wasn't for him, we would have had some really horrible spending bills go through Congress this year. Um, Younger left leaning voters are especially eager to fight climate change, which makes you wonder why they pick now to do the Tuition Forgiveness Act. Anyway, anarchy. Yeah, yeah, it is anarchy. It's and by the way, I'll make a complete confession because I cracked up another creator the other night. I have yet to see the Purge movies. I've seen bits of them. I haven't seen them, and I'm trying to decide: do I want to see them in the order they came out, or do I want to see them in chronological order? Um, well, Glenn, when I was a kid, they kept saying we were going to have a second ice age, and all about in the '90s, it suddenly became, oh no, global warming, and now it's change, climate change. Climate's always changing. It's just insane. I had geologists actually write a paper. I watched the presentation that the Mississippi River, which now comes out by New Orleans, used to come out by what is now Lafayette. And what was in New Orleans actually was a mountain, and then there was a natural change, some flooding, and it shifted. And so when the city was being built, you call yourself, I'm disappointed in you. Hey man, I actually got exhausted and decided I was going to watch the what's that? The last of the Hobbit series. Not the Desolation of Smog, the Battle of the Five Armies, because I just wanted to see wanton violence. Uh, yeah, and you call yourself. It's true, right? Hey, Chuck, what's going on? They have movies of Atlas Shrugged too. Read and watch. Find what's left out. Yeah, I'll do it. Thank you, Sean. Actually, I actually had just read. I finally got to read All Quiet on the Western Front. Hey, Shalom. Uh, Purge is one of my worst nightmares. And you know what's funny? I know I kind of understand where the series goes as a whole. I guess that somebody ruined it is what happened. They kind of told me the themes, and I was like, no, I really am not motivated to watch. But now I have to watch because I'm really. So you're saying watch them in the order they came out? Okay, so I'll do that. By the way, I tried to do a watch party with Twilight Zone, and I got a copyright flag, and they banned the video, and it was alive too. We were all joking in the chat, and then they were like, "Nope, you can't do that. You're having too much fun, preppers. Be gone." Anyway, so we have the president saying he's very happy about the Inflation Reduction Act, which did nothing for us. They passed it a month ago, still not doing anything for us, and people are suffering in real life, and that's to me is something that agitates me to no end. So I'm going to share this one with you. And this is the kind of stuff I just want to. Yeah, it was a good book, and It was sad but understandable, very much so. Purge with locust people. I like that, locust people. Instead of calling them zombies, we should call them the locust people. So let me see if this will play. Watch now. You will watch nothing, and you will like it. No, that's really? Can you guys hear that? No, it's a lot. Possibly. Hey, Rocky Mountain. Thank you for joining me.
Senior analyst covering electric utilities, power, and renewable energy for KeyBank Capital Markets. Sophie, it's
Can you guys hear it?
Today. I want to get your reaction to this data we received from the National Energy Assistance Association showing that 20 million Americans are at risk of seeing their power shut off across the nation. And of that, 3 million are anticipated to see their power shut off by the end of this year.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a concern, right? And this is particularly a concern for utilities who just emerged from the moratorium on disconnects due to COVID and already sitting on a large number of deferrals. You know, historically, I think that utilities and their regulators tend to work these things out. Utility companies always offer some sort of payment plan or form of
20
assistance to their
million
customers and
Americans.
try to avoid the disconnects, particularly in vulnerable communities. And we expect that this will be the case this time around as well, right? And with respect to the utility bills, you're correct that we see these headlines about super high utility bills in particular regions, but really in a lot of regions, these increases are a lot more moderate, and we even see in some regions of the country where utility rates are slightly down year over year per DOE data. So I think that those impacts would be largely concentrated in the lower affordability states. So how would investors...
Just on that specific note, if there are more shutoffs in the coming months, which utilities specifically do you think are most at risk, most vulnerable?
So I think to your point, right, this is the lower affordability states, right? So you would be looking at places like California, for example, or New York State, or the Northeast, Massachusetts. So the utilities that operate in those states, that would be EIX, Sempra, as they exposed to Southern California, could be one of them. Eversource, Con-Edison in New York, Avangrid also in New York. So those would be the utilities exposed to those lower profitability regions, right? That could potentially see some impact from that. On the other hand, on the other end of the spectrum, you see high affordability regions where rates are more stable or maybe even going down. And those are middle of the country. You're looking at Colorado, you're looking at Wyoming, Montana, places like that. And the utilities exposed to those types of regions that we highlight in our research are, for example, Xcel Energy and Wisconsin Energy, right? And so I think those names are the ones where you want to be at this point in time, where rates of affordability and commodity price inflation is really becoming a concern with respect to utility rates.
Okay, so there are 20 million Americans. So what, there are 300 something million U.S. citizens or U.S. the populace. So, and keep in mind that's 20 million. I'm assuming 20 million accounts, like 20 million electrical accounts. So that means 20 million households. So if you just took the 20 million out of the populace, it would be under 10%. Still a big number. Hey, my mother Spark, thank you. Thank you for joining me. You guys be safe out there. But if you take 20 million households, that's a hell of a lot more than 20 million people. Amen to that. As long as the baby's healthy and you have a healthy kiddo, that's awesome. And Joe still and done have some. Nope, every day still comes. Keep in mind, we've had collapses before throughout history. And the people who thought ahead were the ones who made it through and then tended to thrive on the other side. It was the ones who freaked out that wound up, getting run over by the Huns or whatever it was, whatever the malady of the day was. But 20 million households, that's a lot of our fellow citizens here in the States who are behind on electrical payments. And that should tell you a lot. And then you look at the fact that food is going up, and the Fed is, the analysts are saying inflation went high, it cratered the stock market today. But the president's like, oh, look at the bill we passed. Yeah, dude, no. The market's not reacting to your bill because the bill is caca. It does not do. The title and what's in it are two totally different things. And yes. Oh, that would be a whole nother video. That would take me some time doing research. But it's important that we all understand what's actually going on, because they're spinning this, hunky dory, everybody has flowers, and we're going to continue to see inflation, and you're going to continue to see that cost effect. And a lot of people are immediately, the minute they hear good news, they're like, oh, I don't need to prep, I don't need to have extra food. And someone told me, he said, well, it'll thin the herd if there's an emergency, which is a terrible thing to say, but he's not wrong. But I want us to at least be cognizant of what's going on, so that all of you and myself, we can make an intelligent, calm decision and go, well, okay, we're going to continue to see pricing increase. Let me look for those sales. Let me get some more food saver bags. Let me, whatever it is you're going to do. So you can make the decisions that will make a difference for the coming year. Inflation is transitory. Well, it's funny. He said it was transitory. He didn't tell us how long the transition was. So someone must have told him 3 years, and he said 3 months. Well, no, I knew what you said. If you would have called him baboso or pendejo, that would have been fine too. I would have totally got it. We held his belief in our principles are the bottom of a collapsed society. Yeah, one or the other. No, and the ones who are trying to, uh, cut back are not thinking through. I told my wife this the other day, because I've been doing this for a while now, pretty much since 20, when the stock market went and oil went negative, which I've never seen before, and I've been in the energy sector for like 25 years. And I said, if it doesn't gain equity, if we can't eat it, protect ourselves with it, wear it, or hide in it, it doesn't gain equity or value over time, and it doesn't make our credit score better, we probably shouldn't do it. And I mean, that's a very crude checklist, but you think about it, all of a sudden it's like, well, I don't need to go to Vegas. Well, what the hell do I need to go to Vegas for right now? We'll go another time. You know what I'm just using Vegas as an example. Oh, my little light went off. I broke it. Made in China technology. Let's see if I can get it working again. Nope, it's dead. Oh well. Now you get to see me in a slightly different tone. Yeah. Oh Lord. The Mr. T. Now I've got to look. Hey, Lucky. Welcome, welcome. It's the best economy ever. Come on, man. Yeah. But this last one, or this next article, is one that bothers me. And it's not being given the the I guess the sound bites it should be. No, and absolutely. I mean, Joe's being sarcastic, but he's not wrong either. Um, you need basic gear. You need to have competency in a firearm. Tarsha was in the chat earlier. Triple Threat's a great person to watch, because she's a USCCA instructor. Lucky, who just popped in on us, she was Lucky. You were in the medical field for a little bit, weren't you? Or you still are? Um, So I got a story about that, Chuck, and I'll share that with you. And actually, it involves Vegas, which is kind of funny. But this bothers me, and I'll give you guys some background, because I think it's something rough. So it says headline looms. Railroads say strike costs 2 billion a day. Now uh, they've given a lot of news to, oh, airline pilots will strike. That would be a pain in the butt. But oh, now you can't fly business. Flight becomes expensive. But think of how little our freight goes via airplane versus what comes on trains. The stuff that matters comes on trains. Even trucks don't match the bulk quantity that trains have. So let me get this on a immersive reader so you guys can actually see what I'm talking about here. Hang on just a second. See, that is a much more complicated question because if there were rioters outside, my rifle would suddenly have a lot of intrinsic value, right? It depends on what duties. Yeah, pepper. You want peppermint pendeja back? Yeah, vision. And so, sorry, I lost track of the chat. I was about to click on one, and the chat jumped like 10 spots, and I've completely lost. Uh, oh yeah, you went to EMT school later. Um, Right, but Lucky's put out some videos on a lot of this, little stuff you can do that doesn't cost you a lot. Because I mean, we're all trying to not spend too much money. Um, but as deadline looms, railroads say strike would cost 2 billion a day. So the railroads were going to go on strike a few months ago. The president actually has an executive power, and this is not just Biden, like any president, to call a 60 or 90-day cooling period. And what he did, he implemented a commission to do an analysis and make recommendations to the two sides. And basically, the agreement was nobody will go on strike, nobody will get fired, nobody does anything until the analysis is done, and then there's negotiations over the 60-day period. Oh, yeah. And I found if you have experience and then go to school, the school makes so much more sense than the other way around, where you go to school and then try to get experience. But anyway, major freight railroads, in a bid to apply pressure on unions and Congress, say a strike could come after a key deadline passes, which would be the expiration of the president's cool off period. Um, the Association of American Railroads trade group issued a report estimating the dire consequences of a strike. Mimi, I don't know, but I would suspect very quickly because, for instance, I know a lot of the chemicals being used in the energy sector and a lot of the components being used in solar and wind and drilling for oil and gas are transported by train before it can get on a truck to then make it to its final destination. I would replace with a Siberian Husky. Yeah. What's going on, Navy man? Hayes Gray, a very awesome fellow. So the Association of American Railroads trade group on Thursday issued a report estimating the dire consequences. A strike or lockout wouldn't be allowed legally until next Friday at the soonest under federal law because railroads are under a very specific governance negotiation process. 5 of the 12 unions involved represent 115,000 workers. The President Emergency Board recommended a 5-year deal retroactive to 2020 that would include 24% raises and 5,000 in bonuses. But the unions are more concerned about not enough people, not enough paid leave, medical coverage. It's more tangible stuff, not just the money. And the railroads also eliminated 1/3 of their workforce over the past 6 years. It would idle 7,000 freight trains a day run by CSX, Union Pacific, BNSF, Northern Norfolk Southern, Kansas City Southern, and other railroads. AAR, and here's Mimi to your to your question, the AAR also said it would be impossible for trucks to pick up the slack of railroads because roughly 467,000 additional semis per day would be needed to handle all the freight railroad deliver. And there's already a shortage of trucks. Yeah. And Lucky, put your link in there as well. What they bring to the table. Yeah. And yeah, you will see people jumping on trains, but think about it. Right now, we already have a trucking shortage. There, you, yeah, people say, "Oh, bring the National Guard." The National Guard is not magic. Okay, they have these things. Those of you who serve know what I'm talking about. They have an MOS, their specialty, if you will. The Navy and the Marine Corps call it a rate. You guys correct me if I'm saying it wrong. And the Army Air Force, it's an MOS. It's the specialty. Not every soldier, guardsman, sailor, whatever can suddenly go and drive a semi. Can you train them? Sure. You can definitely train them, but you cannot spontaneously train them. You're going to have to send them to school, which means you're going to pull them from whatever they're doing now for the national defense to put them in trucks. It'll take a while, and this train just because. No, I'm saying trucks, not a train. Yeah, but same difference. They can't drive a train either. I know some guys in some of my old units I would not trust with a pickup truck. They scared me. So, uh, right. And they can come in and do civil defense stuff, right? Distribute food, help rescue people, assist law enforcement in securing, but they're a reserve. They're not a, oh, we're going to use them as doctors this month and use them as truck drivers next month. It doesn't work like that. Thank you, Hayes Gray. And okay, so I wasn't too screwed up there. So this is something that should be getting a lot of headlines. Instead, the first headline I saw today was monkeypox, and it was one guy who was immunocompromised. I hate to say it, but more than likely either cancer or maybe HIV/AIDS, and then he got monkeypox on top of it, and it killed him. Maybe not. If you start seeing guard units going to different states, that would scare me more because, like, if you pulled the Texas Guard boys from this area and had them do martial law in the area, this is home to them. They're not going to shoot up their hometown, right? You take guys from, BFE and you bring them to Texas. They don't know the locals. They don't care. So go without food or whatever they want. Yeah. And honestly, it would be more the panic effect. There would be supply, there would be stuff. It would become very difficult and expensive. But yeah, it's a. Oops, sorry, wrong one here. Go ahead and see how nasty it gets. Yeah, they'd move National Guard to other state, not within the same states. Yeah, and that one would scare me. So when they moved all these National Guard units to Washington, D.C., and basically made the White House a fort and Congress a fort, that was concerning. And then it was more amusing when the governors of certain states were like, you know what? You didn't treat our people well. This is what I think of you, and pull their units back. The only way the president could have overridden it was to use executive authority and nationalize the National Guard. And that would have been a riot, to say the least. Yes, unfortunately. Oh yeah, most definitely. Thank you, Shad, for dropping the links in there. So this one, I recommend we keep an eye on. Now they can't do anything until Friday, right? That doesn't give us a lot of time, obviously, but I had to dig for this story. I knew something was going on, but I didn't know. But in the meantime, we're worried about the one dude died from monkeypox. Again, sad, but somewhat self-inflicted, and it was just one individual. And that was the big thing. Okay, Marines are an MOS. Okay, thank you, Shad. Um, And this would concern me a lot more. Keep in mind everything from frac sand, because they use these granules to frack these wells, to heavy equipment, to I wonder why I wasn't seeing. Oops, duh. No, I've done that. I've done it, and then I'm like, oh, yeah, same. Yeah, and this one we should keep and be mindful of. A lot of food, a lot of product comes via trains to places like Dallas, Houston. Temple, Texas is actually a railroad crossing, an old one, and then it gets distributed on trucks. So a lot of the chemicals we use, a lot of those kind of products will get hung up. But again, something that we should be watching that concerns me way more than President Potato or monkeypox or the other pendejo I was talking about earlier. I thought I was losing my brain. It's been a week for everyone, Lucky. I mean, seriously, watch Red October's last two videos. Oh my God, their 4x4s run. Oh, for sure. But yeah, folks, this one I'd watch. Again, no reason to panic. We can't control it, but be aware of it. And maybe I might try to do some homework on what exactly is the most likely thing that's going to affect us as the preparedness community if the trains stop. It's probably going to be a long list, sadly. But yeah, no, he's not gone. I saw the videos out of order, so I saw the one where he was explaining he's not gone. I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? And then I saw the other one and went, oh, okay. The first video was actually funny. It was actually comical. But folks, this is the kind of stuff we need to just pay attention to. Don't freak out. Don't have a heart attack about it. It does no good. But understand how this can affect you, and especially in the cities. Because out here, when you go into the countryside, a lot of product, a lot of farm goods, ranches, and stuff you can provide and source locally. You get into the cities where the big trains come in and drop off everything, uh, then it's going to be a challenge for the cities, and the cities will not be happy. Um, I would think massive amounts of coal, because coal's heavy and it takes up a large volume, would travel. You know what? That's a really good thing to look up. Let's see what the magic consumer products via rail. Let's see. Let's see if there's what types of products are shipped by rail. All right, this doesn't help me. This is Europe, but yeah, actually, no. This website's more about how to break apart partial shipments of fuel. This is more like legal. Okay, I couldn't find it, but all right. Well, I was looking for like a quick list, but it doesn't seem like I'm going to find one. Bulk foods will transport, according to BNSF. Okay, here's a good website. Actually, Chuck, I've seen. Hold on a second here. I just made something angry. Nope, that one. There we go. If it's not by pipeline, it's by tanker, train tanker. Let's see. So, uh, standard transportation commodity codes for foods. This is from the BNSF website. Peanut seeds, potato flake, pepper sauce, beverage flavoring. Okay, it doesn't really give you a breakdown like what agricultural products, bulk foods, fresh and frozen, ethanol, renewable. It would field crops. Okay, I bite. What does field crop say? Oh, it just says we offer shippers of corn, wheat, and other crops. So it's a pretty good mix of stuff that would ultimately affect us. Thank you, Lucky. I appreciate that. Jeffrey, thank you. Be safe out there. Yep. And that's why I started with the stupid articles, just to point out how ridiculous the headlines are. And nobody's covering this, which I think would affect us a hell of a lot more. And Hayes Gray, I'll send you this link. Actually, I'll drop the link in the chat so you all. Oh, nope, wrong one. Doggone it. Let me. I'll let you guys go dig into this yourselves. Let me see if I can. Hold on, it did not play nicely. Here we go. Copy link. Hang on just a second, so you guys can do a little digging on your own. I think we're allowed to ride quads around here. Cops never stop anymore. No, actually, they're having a bunch of drive-by crimes with in New York City with quads and dirt bikes. So this stuff is good, yeah, and absolutely. So this last article, it could affect us on availability, and it could happen very quickly. I'm sure the feds will step in because it'll, on an election year especially, they don't want to look bad. But you never know. I mean, the last 3 years have been full of surprises. So do some digging, see if the products you buy and use may be affected by this. I'm sure a lot of them will be. And then, act accordingly, store accordingly, split the purchases between people so you guys can share the cost and get less cost per unit of whatever it is you're buying. Look for the deals. You get the manager's special on the cuts of meat because they expire in 48 hours. But if you freeze it that day, now your shelf life is a year and a half, right? So be smart, do the right things systemically, pick your prep every week and attack it. Flash gang, yeah, it is a clown world. So just filter through, and that's why I did the articles today the way I did, because the important one was at the end, and all the stuff you see at the top headlines really aren't telling us anything we don't know. This was new to me as of last night, and that concerned me more than anything else we read. So, just do the things, be smart, don't freak out, and be systemic. And if you can, try to stay as organized as you can, because you start losing track of what you've bought, and it'll become a show. But guys, I'm gonna call it there. If you guys have any questions later, shoot me an email, put it in the comments below the video, and I will be happy to get back with you guys. Until next time, God bless, Godspeed. You guys take care of yourselves out there, and try to filter out the stupid and get to the stuff that actually matters, it actually affects us. Uh, yeah, and organization definitely important. You guys, thank you, Tony. You guys be safe, be careful out there, um, and don't go to the big cities at night. The cops are struggling to keep control. So you guys be careful, and have a good night. And go have a drink if you do partake. Go get a glass of wine. Have fun. Enjoy. God bless you guys. You guys take care.